Hi, and welcome to another edition of the CCPA Playbook. I am super excited. I've been looking forward to this all week. I have my friends Tomika and Kim from the world famous Sold Sisters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Craig, for the opportunity.
I felt like I was like welcoming the Price is Right guest, but that was like very over dramatic. I feel
that's okay. We like dramatic.
You like dramatic? Yeah. Is that what makes Sold Sisters the best? Is the dramatics, the flair, the theatrics of it all?
I'm going to say no, although I can be dramatic and theatrical.
We like flair.
We like
You like flair.
I think what sets us apart is our relationships with people.
So let's talk about how did the Sold Sisters become the Sold Sisters? I think I've always wanted to know that. So this is a great time to talk about that.
It's a great question.
Great question.
So
I just created that in my head, by the way. Just popped
a lot going on in there.
There's a lot going on in this brain of mine.
How far back do you want me to go? Like how we started working together?
All right, yeah. Let's set a different stage for our amazing listeners that follow us. You grew up in Citrus, right?
We are both Citrus County natives.
Did you both go to Citrus?
Yes.
Yes.
God, a bunch of hurricanes going on.
It's best alumni around.
Best alumni. I won't tell Nancy you said that. She's a Panther.
Sorry.
Ooh. Not during hurricane season, though.
No.
All right. So you both go to Citrus. You both are Citrus Countyans, which is rare. Were you born here?
Yes.
So normally when we're do citizens trainings, the citizens in there are always flabbergasted about the growth that's going on in Citrus County. So the question I always ask, which is always interesting, I'm like, how many of you were born in Citrus County? And there's normally only one person that raises her hand, and that's Megan. Megan's usually the only one. She's born and raised. So I'm like, we're all the problem. So you two were born and raised in Citrus. Fantastic. Okay. So now you'll keep going with your story.
Okay. So I was licensed in 2006, which if anybody knows, that was right before the crash.
Yeah.
And it was December 2006. I had interviewed several brokerages. I decided to move forward with Landmark Realty, where Tomika had been for a few years at that point. I don't remember the exact time.
Since 2000.
Right. There we go. That time.
That time.
I worked at Outback that was when Outback was only open at night. So
lunch, right.
I would do real estate during the day, and then I would go to my job at night. And I have a very strong work ethic, similar to Tomika. And I was helping her with her foreclosures, or also known as REOs.
Yep.
And just doing like weekly inspections, which I looked at that as an opportunity to, okay, I can get into houses. I can go explore neighborhoods, right? I'm new to the industry, and help somebody out, right? That's very busy.
Win-win.
Yeah, it was a win-win for both of us, I think. So started there, just, I don't know if you want to call it driving for dollars, but we were just, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And eventually started doing a little bit more, helping with computer work, BPOs, which is broker price opinions, right? And then the relationship evolved, and then we started working more together on everything. And I was there for 7 years, I believe.
At Landmark.
Okay.
And I was there for 18 years.
Right.
Which was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot.
So has this been your only career that you've had? It's always interesting when I talk to people, because they're like, yeah, I've probably had like one or two jobs since I graduated high school, and I've had like 20. So that's kind of what.
Well, I've been in real estate 25 years, so I started when I was 5.
Okay, so right. It's super young. Yeah, super young.
No, I went to college prior to real estate, was going to school for physical therapy, worked actually in the court system here, court clerking while I went to school, and decided that wasn't my passion. And then one of my best friends at the time, her mom, Linda Baker, that owns Landmark Realty, she said, you should try real estate. You would be fantastic at it. And that's how I launched my career into real estate.
Yeah.
And so you both found something that you totally love. And I think you both have kids, and I have a daughter. And so I always tell people who I try to mentor, or even high school kids, go find something you love, right? Like I truly love my job. Like I think the community could see that, right? I love it. And you two love your job. And so that's important. And what I try to tell a lot of young people, and even people in their 30s and 40s that are trying to maybe reinvent themselves, find something you love. I'm telling you, when you find something you love, no matter what career it is, like Craig Stevens loves his job and he's great at it. And you can tell. And so like, you can tell that you two absolutely love your job. You love being a realtor. So you're 7 or 8 years in the making. And then what makes you decide that you want to go out on your own?
I think growth. We wanted to become bigger, right? Not necessarily be a broker of our own company, but have a small team where culture thrived, where we could see our coworkers live their life by design, or members of our team, I should say, and just evolving and doing a little bit more with our business. And with
What year was this?
We left and moved to Keller Williams in 2000.
Yeah, we were part of the core group that launched Keller Williams office about 6 years ago. We've been full business partners for 15 years, and we launched with Keller Williams office downtown Square.
Was there any deciding factor that made you want to go with Keller Williams? I'm
the culture. Curious. Yeah, it's God, family, work to set your priorities. Now, whether that's spiritual, whatever that first top priority is, it doesn't matter. And then it was important for us when we made the transition. For me personally, it was my time with my family, because time's that resource you never get back, right?
Yeah.
And so I was missing time with my children. And I said, how do I make this better? And again, it's with leverage growth. And then they have the culture that shows the importance of it. So for example, the first year I came over and transitioned to Keller Williams, I got back 90 days of my life with my children that I would have never had before. And that was more than any monetary compensation I could get.
Yeah, we are, culture's big. Culture is big in our organization at the Citrus County Property Appraiser's office. I can tell you, I want our people to have a good work-life balance. That's important. I come from a career prior to this being in law enforcement where it was 24/7. I'm on red, like I'm on high alert, answering the phone all the time. And so to come here and to create a culture that is similar to what Keller Williams has, I think that is what is so, I think that's why I love the Keller Williams model so much. Not that any of the other models aren't great. They're good. There's a bunch of good realtors. There's a bunch of great brokers in Citrus County. But Keller Williams specifically, I think, is endearing to me. And I think maybe that was one of the reasons why you and I, or us, we've become friends, because I love what Keller Williams represents, and it's almost identical with what we're trying to do here at the Citrus County Property Appraiser's office. So, so you created the Sold Sisters. What year was that? Ooh, stumped you.
We weren't prepped with this question, but we should know it.
Itch. Just give me itch.
I would say just before we transferred to Keller Williams, like 2014.
Yeah.
Right before we,
Okay.
We started branding ourselves.
Branding is important.
Branding is important. And we wanted to represent something that was more than just real estate, and it was relationships. It was giving back to our community, and our mission is to give where you live. And so we do a lot of support with the community.
Well, you two definitely, your group definitely does that for sure. And I think that's what we try to tell people about the property appraiser's office, is that we're not just the property appraiser's office. We're more than that. Like, we have people that grew up here, multi-generational families that are from here. And so like, we want to make sure that we're giving back to the community. We kind of get beat up a little bit because we're government, right? And they're like, oh, you should be working 8 to 5. And no, there's more than that. There's more than that. And I think that you two and your group such a great example of that. And I feel like we should all lead by example, right? I've done a lot of talks lately on servant leadership, and I really truly feel that's what you two are. And that's important. So why do you feel that as a realtor, and having that model that you have with Keller Williams and your work ethic, you talked about work ethic, it was funny. I was talking to the superintendent, and they're like, what's the number one thing you look for when you interview people for a job? Work ethic. That's the first thing. I don't care about degrees. I don't care about certificates. I don't care about, if you have no hair, if you have high hair, brown, brunette, it doesn't matter. What's your work ethic? What's your moral compass at? If we didn't have to take another application, I would be excited. Like, bring the person. I'd just line them up, take numbers. Let's talk to them, and let's talk about work ethic. But everything that you two touch, it seems to encompass that gold touch that y'all have, that special touch. You talk about relationships And that's important. I think Citrus County still is based off of good relationships. And so that's why you feel like that's what your credit is due, your success is due, is those relationships that you have.
I 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
And being born and raised here, I think we have upper hand because we have the long relationships with people.
The long game. I like
Yes.
the long game. Yeah.
You know, we're able to help our clients. They need somebody. A lot of people move to Citrus County from out of state. They don't know anybody. They don't know who to call. They don't know who to trust. And we have that connection with them. We have vendor guides that we can help them with. And these are people that we use, our family use. We let them inside our house, and they gain trust with us by having that.
So we want to be their go-to for anything.
Everything.
Even exception, like real estate, right? We want to be the go-to. Do you need an attorney? Do you need a painter? Do you need an accountant?
I remember when I was attempting to build our house. I called Tomika and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to do this myself. And do you have a list of vendors?" And she sent me y'all's list of vendors. And so I've seen that list. So it's good. And so here's my.
And then you had a guy that didn't show up.
Yes.
For your back porch.
Oh yeah.
And we made a call.
It was my trim guy. My trim guy. We don't want to talk. I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you. That's probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. I called Tomika and I was stressed out because I had just had a ton of trim delivered and the guy no-showed us. And Tamika's like, "What?" I'm like, "I need a trim guy and I need him fast, right? I need it fast." And she goes, "I know a guy." I love that saying. Like, I know a guy. Justin Strickland and I were just talking about that. And I was like, it's good to know a guy. Yes. And Tomika, you two know guys and gals. So she gives me Patrick McGinnis. And that guy, I love that guy. And I literally, like, if he can move in my house, I would let him. Like, he was amazing. He's a one-man machine. And I took a lot of time off to help him with that. But it's good to know people. And and it's funny because like Nancy's from Citrus County. I say she's from Citrus. She's lived here since she was 3. And she always gives me a hard time about knowing more people than she does. And I'm like, I just, you build those relationships. Those are important. I think my first interaction with you was through Mickey, right?
Oh, Lord.
So, no, this is a funny story.
Okay.
So Nancy and I are out looking for property and we roll up on mutual friend of ours, Mickey Dixon. And we were like, "What are you doing?" And Mickey, it's a Sunday. And Mickey's like, "I'm just going to go to my property." And long story short, we go to it. Nancy loves it. And he goes, "You should reach out to my friend Tomika. She's the listing agent." And I'm like, "Well, it's Sunday, right? I don't want to mess with her on Sunday." He goes, "No, you need to." And so I sent you a text or something. And you're like, "I'm going to have to call you back. I'm in church," And then that night she did call me back and we had a contract on the house by that night. And now forever, we'll be neighbors with Mickey Dixon. So it is good. But the relationships, let's go back to that. You all, I think another moving thing for my family and I is the fact of what you all do. And I'm going to be teaching a class at Summer Rise, which is through the Education Foundation, on gratitude, on how for our young people to give gratitude in the different ways. It's not just a text. Like it's more than that. It's more than that. And so I remember, and this is many years after we've been friends. We build our house, we move in. My dog passes away, Max. Our dog passes away, Max. And I think I don't want to put an exact date on it. I want to say it was like a month later. And I receive a card in the mail from you two, and it was from Max, and it was pictures of Max and I that I believe Nancy might have posted online, and a short message from Max, and I'm telling you, it's those kind of things that matter, right? And those cards that matter, and so let's talk about your customer service. Like, why do you feel like you should do that?
We want to celebrate your great moments and we want to be there for you when you have your bad moments.
Right.
I mean, I think that's about supporting each other in the community and being that, that person that I can pick up the phone and call you and ask, "Hey, Craig, I need a favor." And you're going to say, "What do you need?" Right. I want to be that person for everybody. And I think Kim sees, the same way.
Yeah. If you look at our logo, I don't know if anybody notices because it's a little bit smaller than our Sold Sisters. We actually have underneath of it more than a move, which is what every single client friend means to us.
Right.
I mean, you're not just a transaction to us. Once you've worked with our team
You're a
You're
forever
part
client.
of our family. And, we celebrate not only when you lose a dog, babies, right? You have anniversaries, anything that we can capture. We have systems to try to make sure we don't miss those moments. We're not perfect. We try to get them all.
Sure. 100%.
And we're going to celebrate that with you as much as we can.
And I think that's kind of another correlation with our office, right? We celebrate, like we have a young person that's in our front customer service. It's her birthday today. Like you see, it's decorated for her birthday. And I'm telling you, in a couple hours, we'll all gather up and sing her happy birthday. That's important. And when it's some of our staff's wedding anniversaries, I will handwrite a wedding anniversary card to their spouses. So that touch that you two have is so important. You even still have customer appreciation events.
4 year, at least 4 year.
4 year. And it's not just,
it's free for
and you're not trying to drum up new business. You're just trying to connect with the people that you've sold houses to, and they're great events. And it's that touch that makes it so good. And how do you think, I feel like in the last few years, I've really tried to make a good, strong emphasis of building our relationship, meaning our relationship, the Citrus County Property Appraiser's office with the realtors. And why do you think that is important?
Oh, that transition.
Because I have an answer, but I'm curious what
it's super important. I'm going to say that as an outsider looking in that doesn't work for the property appraiser's office, it has been a complete changeover. You come from servant leadership. And so what you brought into this building, into this environment, was a culture that wasn't here before. So the touches that you do with realtors, you hold classes, you try to set us up for success. And then in turn, it sets the client up for success and your community up for success. And I think it just dominoes from there. But I think that when you care about the people that you work with, they care about the people that they serve.
Sure.
Right? They pass that forward.
Well, it's, at the end of the day, I think there's a government feel to a lot of government offices, and I don't want that. I want our people, they go from great service from a realtor like you two and many others in our county. And I want those new citizens. You mentioned that a lot of people move to Citrus County from out of state. So they don't know, we could be their first interaction with government. And I want it to be a positive one because that gives a lasting impression. I want to make sure, like you just said, that the realtor is equipped to handle any questions that they have. Because what I don't want is misinformation. And that starts with the realtor, because that's who I trust. Like I trust you with everything I have with real estate stuff. So when they come in here, I want to make sure that they are given the same kind of customer service.
And it's changed. Like I can tell you that if I don't know the answer, I may call you, I may message you. Who do I need to talk to, right?
Sure.
Where do I need to find that? And it's prompt service.
Yes.
You direct me to who that proper person is, right? You're not an expert in all the departments, right? And so you get me to that person, you connect us, we get the answer for our client, and they've got the correct information. And we got it with such a great experience, right? It wasn't, hold on, let me help you with that. It was positivity in it. And it really sets, our job up so much easier whenever we have that.
Do you, what we've really tried to also increase in the last 3 or 4 years is the resources that you all have as realtors at your fingertips, whether it be the Citrus County Property Office website or social media. Do you think that, is there anything that we need to maybe improve on or get better at? Because I feel like we can always get better at something.
Of course.
And so is there anything that maybe you can think of that could help you all?
I might be a little biased because I'm from here.
Uh-oh.
But I think that you guys run the best GIS maps, property appraisers.
Yes.
When we do the bordering counties, we don't go all the way into like Marion or other counties, but when we're looking, Hernando County maybe, I dread going on there. And not to be negative or theirs. I think you're just doing a phenomenal job with what's available.
Yeah, Rick Fritz, our GIS guy, awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Darren Pillsbury and his IT department, super awesome. And that's the way we want all of our departments to feel, and I always tell the only competition that we are up against is ourselves in the past, right? We make mistakes. We own those things.
Human. We all
yeah. I don't pay attention to the sound off, so I don't pay attention to the word of mouth. But what I do pay attention is the human interaction. What do you see as realtors? what are you saying? So you saying you got into the real estate market, Kim, back in 06, so right before the last bust, right? And then obviously COVID happens and the real estate market goes crazy.
Everybody was scared.
Everybody's scared.
Yeah.
Values are skyrocketing. Where do you see the market going right now?
So Citrus County, real estate's hyper local. Might be raining, storming in Denellen, and the sun is shining in Inverness. So that's how we explain that.
That's a good analogy.
All of our clients, because Citrus Springs is inundated, saturated with new construction. You can get a great deal. It's not a bad thing. It's been a very strong buyer's market. Inverness right now, we were just looking at the numbers, is more balanced. So it really depends on where you're looking because it's so hyper local. But we're definitely out of that strong seller's market.
Yeah, I just talked to a young man this morning on my way in. Young person. I love talking to young people. I think they realize that that they can almost get a mortgage for the same price that they're going to pay rent. And this young person, Mike, his name is Mike, super awesome. Like he's like super, and it's a foreclosure and it's in Inverness, and he's super excited about it being his first home, but he wants the homestead. And his realtor did a good job of saying, hey, you need to go in and file for your homestead. And I'm like, Mike, when did you buy your house? He goes, I closed on it yesterday. And I'm like, you're going to have to give me a minute, man. We're not that fast. Yeah. So we just released June 1st. And I only brought that up because what I want people to understand is we're also seeing kind of a leveling off of values. It's kind of slowing down. And when on June 1st, we released a press release to the estimated values to the taxing authorities, and it said 7%. And everybody's like, I can't believe my property's going up 7%. I'm seeing where everything is like decreasing in value. You're right. What they skipped over was that's a 7% increase in total taxable value, meaning all the new construction is added, all the new homes, all the new commercial buildings. So we are seeing a leveling off as well. It's not that the individual homes are going up 7%. It's the total tax base, taxable values going up 7%. What would you tell a new buyer? What would you tell a young person, right? If they come to you and say, I want to buy a house. What would your thoughts be on that?
We sit down and we have a strategy session with them. So we don't just say, let's go get pre-qualified. We want to make sure that we set them up for success. And so we're going to look at their wants and their needs. What does their budget look like? We don't want to put them in a home that's got a 20-year-old roof, right? Because we're probably not going to have the funds to do that.
Right.
And I think a lot of the misconception is people think interest rates are so high. They're still below the historical average of 8%.
Where are they at right now?
They're at 6.8
6.8
for an average 30-year fixed mortgage. Yet a lot of the programs and lenders now offer a permanent buy down rate, which means you can buy down that interest rate that makes that payment more affordable. And they don't know those things, right? Sure. They don't know what they don't know. So they come in, sit down, have a strategy session. We just closed with a first-time home buyer couple. So precious. They have a newborn baby, was in the NICU for months. They thought homeownership is never going to be obtainable for us. But it was, and it was such a great, rewarding experience. Like first-time home buyers are our absolute favorites, right? To watch.
You guys, you had a first-time home buyer / engagement.
Yes, we had one of those recently.
Yeah. That was a big deal. That was a first for both of y'all?
Yes, right? Rose petals in there. So in 25 years was our first engagement in the home on closing day. So
Savannah grew up with him, so that's the only reason why I already knew that story.
Of those moments, like those are what, like, again, you're helping somebody with their the largest financial investment they're going to make in their lifetime, right? And we get to be a part of that. Like, how cool is that? That
is pretty cool. I will tell you, I was very excited, and you two are again simply amazing. And I don't want to overstate that, but it's true. The level of professionalism, and again, a lot of good realtors in Citrus County.
100%.
A lot of good ones. You love working with those, and I think
partnership. We're all on the same team,
right? And so are we. Like, we want to be a partner with you to help them, and that's why one of the reasons why you talk about mortgage and you talk about interest rates, and one of the things that, like I told Mike this morning on the phone, is I need him to understand that his home is going to be reassessed once ownership changes, and that's a big deal because. I haven't looked it up. So I think the person had homestead on it for 10, 15 years.
Right.
So I said, listen, Mike, your property tax bill in November is going to be low, but when you come next year, it's going to be totally different. And so
you've got a great tool on your website.
Yes, we do.
It tells you what that's
well,
gonna
we
be.
added that recently. We listened to our citizens. We had enough people come in and be like, we had no idea what the property taxes were going to be. And we were like, you know what? We're going to change that. I want you to know. And so I know, and that's what I was telling Mike this morning. I said, you can go on our website and I can pretty much tell you that's what your tax bill is going to be next year. So you know, so you can plan ahead, because first time home buyer, he's trying to figure out his budget. He doesn't know what that looks like. And I said, you're being escrowed for what the bill is this year.
Correct.
But it will change next year. It will. There's no doubt about it. That's important. So let's talk about, go ahead.
And going back to, if there's one thing that we could change, maybe, and you could have, and I just missed it, but letting the public aware of if they have been flooded. We've had so much devastation on the west side of our county. We had a conversation about reach out to the property appraiser's office.
Sure.
Let them know that you have damage so you can help work with them on those types of items as well. They don't know that they can use you as a resource while they're going through that challenge.
Yeah. So on that note, what we've added since we've had 4 hurricanes and 2 tornadoes in the last 2 years, but I'm going to go ahead and throw in the caveat of fires, right? Because in the statute, they call those catastrophic events. And there's some help out there. There's some help that we can do as an office on the value of a home, or we can also do as far as a refund goes. And so on our website, on the quick links on the side, on the right hand side, it says self-reporting of storm damage or self-reporting of catastrophic event, or I can't remember the exact lingo, and I'm sure Megan can throw that on the podcast so we point it out. But we do that. We actually, if there's a fire at a home, we will send them a letter. Hey, we need to know this. Actually, let me kind of back that. I'll pause it. The fire department, all 3 fire departments, the city of Crystal River, the county, and the city of Inverness, if there's a fire, we get a fire report. So we go out instantly, like within a week or 2, because we need to make sure we adjust that value on that home. Same thing with storms.
Yeah, homes are getting demoed.
Yeah. So, I know that you and I had a conversation about a home that was recently sold, or a piece of property that was recently sold. And that tax bill is going out in November. But this person may or may not have had storm damage in 24. But if they didn't tell us, I don't know.
And they didn't claim it. So again, it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So.
And there's so many homes, but we do. I think with our social media, Megan does a great job with our social media and our outreach. But we also, we don't go door knocking because we don't want to be intrusive. Sure. But we will drive around. We'll do what we call window inspections, and if we see something that's damaged, we will try to reach out to them. I will tell you, the first year we had from Helene, we had about 250 people ask for a refund, tax refund. And then this year we were at about 600. And I am so excited about that because that means our outreach is working.
That's 600 families you served.
600 families that we've served. And everybody thinks that we're the bad guy. And I really want people to file for homestead. And if their homes are damaged because of storms, to self-report that so we can help them out. So that's a big deal.
So sorry to bring that back, but that was a good, an important topic for you to check.
That is a great one. And usually when a storm hits, Megan's usually really good about putting that out on social media. We've done a bunch of videos on it. We write articles about it. But here's the problem. So it's almost like homestead. I have made a huge, our office, I don't want to say our office has done such a great job of getting out there to file for homesteads, but it is still one of the most underused tool for people to save money. I don't know how many times we hear from people, I forgot to file a homestead 5 years ago. I've owned this home. I had deputies from my law enforcement days. They're like, hey, I need you to check to see if my home's confidential. And then I pull it up and they've owned the home for 10 years and never had a homestead. It breaks my heart.
Ours too. So we send out letters at the first of the year.
Yeah.
So anybody who purchased a home that year will get a letter.
And the application, if they don't want to have the application to bring in, they can be given the link to your website.
Yep.
So easy.
They can e-file. Yep. They can e-file. They can come in. We even send out cards to all new buyers. We send them out twice a year. So, it's people need to use it. excuse me. People need to use the self-reporting of storm damage, whether it's a storm from, now, we're getting these big electrical lightning storms. Well, somebody's home could be destroyed. And I hope they let us know, because if not, I can't do anything about it. But
Right.
Sure.
let's talk about Red Day. That's pretty cool. Like, tell our listeners about Red Day. Keller Williams Red Day.
Event for Keller Williams.
Yeah, it's Mo Anderson's birthday. She's one of the founders of Keller Williams.
Okay.
And it's the third Thursday of every May, right?
Yes.
Third Thursday of every May. And we take the day off of real estate and we just go out and give back to the community. And it's our whole office. It's every Keller Williams around the world. And it's really cool to see the impact of all. Some offices have built homes in one day,
Wow.
right? With enough people.
Sure.
So it feels good. It feels good to give back. Our team does it throughout the year. Like we mentioned through the events. With our events, we partner with a nonprofit, Citrus County Blessings, Family Resource Center, where every event is grouped. CASA.
Yes.
But I said Family Resource Center. So it's just so nice. And they need help. Our community needs help. They are always looking for volunteers.
And it's not always monetary.
Right.
It's picking up a hammer. It's picking up a paintbrush. So we've painted buildings before. We've gone in and cleaned out classrooms for schools.
Yeah.
It's been crazy about the different projects that we've been allowed to partner with.
As your team grows, because you started with 2 of you, how many employees do you all have now? Do you have
on our team,
on your team?
Kim and I are the co-owners, and we're the listing specialists. We have one buyer specialist, Larry. We just lost another buyer specialist. She went off on maternity leave, and we have a full-time.
Just of you to give her that time off.
We let her. We gave her a couple days, right?
Populating the world.
Yes. We have Ansley, which is our amazing. We call her our client care manager, because that is her job, is to care and love our clients. And then we have a transaction coordinator. So we have 3 licensed agents on the team.
I got you.
Small but mighty.
And then Inverness Keller Williams has how many?
It's always fluctuating.
Sure.
I think we're about 60 right now.
60. Now, do all 60 of those participate in Red Day, or do y'all just do this?
They're all invited. Sometimes maybe physical challenges might arise. If it's something like that, we usually have different choices for them to be able to choose from. But for the most part, the majority of our office does participate. I
can tell you our office has really enjoyed Blessings. We find that, and that's just one example. We do Habitat for Humanity. We help the Boys and Girls Club with Steak and Steak, and the list goes on and on. We find that it's actually a good team building, right? It's good for camaraderie. So everybody says you're helping the community, but you're really the community's helping you, because you're able to come together as a team. And but it is such a two-way street. I agree. I think our community just loves helping each other. I hate bringing this up, but when a drastic event happens, man, our community really wraps their arms around them. And sometimes those heroes, I love the statement, heroes don't always have to wear capes, right? And so it's the people who are quietly doing things in the community that you don't know about. And I know Red Day is one of those. I know that's a big deal, because I know what that feels like for our office. That's a big deal.
And I think you learn a lot about people when you're outside of that work environment. Sure. You learn and make that connection. Like, they talk about their family stories, again, while you're helping a nonprofit or a disaster relief,
right?
You get to learn something about the people that you work with that maybe you didn't know. And that just makes that bond even better.
Well, it puts you in a vulnerable state, right? It puts you in a vulnerable state to where you can almost relate to their situation, because you've probably been there, or someone that has been there. Like, I know we had an employee that went through some cancer treatments about a year ago, and somebody is always touched by cancer. And so you want to rally around them, because I think too many times a lot of community stuff sometimes can be transactional. Like, you want to do this for this, and that's not the case. Like, how about we just want to be good people and just help somebody, right? And because something's going to happen, and you're going to need an army, and so that's important. I remember one time, and not to get into crazy, but we had some medical issues at our house, and then we hear a knock on the door one night, and we open the door, and there's just a ton of food sitting on the front porch, right? That's a big deal. And so we appreciate that. I know that we offer realtor training classes. So what's been cool
we
is
love them.
yes. So y'all were, when we first started those, y'all were one of the first groups to be a part of that. And that has grown and we've blossomed. And I think every realtor that we can help is important. And then you have also had us come to your office. And so that's a big deal. You know, we have the Realtor e-newsletter that Megan puts out. We try to get everybody to subscribe to that. Again, she's awesome. She does good. I can't do that stuff. I could sit here. I could talk for hours. We could talk about this. We could talk about stuff for hours. I can't be the creative brain behind all that. But, you know, I think the real estate market, the real estate industry is in good hands with realtors like you two. And I hope that what you do is you model behavior that all realtors should mimic. And I feel like that's what we're trying to do here at the Property Appraiser's office as well. Not that I'm saying we're like some big show pony, but we try to model the way. And I know that's what you two do, and not only in your personal lives, but in your professional lives as well. So you have kids. You have an Air Force veteran. So we want to thank him for his service. That's a big deal.
He is currently serving in Japan.
Japan.
Yes.
It's funny you say that. We just had one of our field appraisers just got back from Japan.
Oh.
He was just visiting. He just wanted some sushi and some ramen, I think. But
well, there's plenty of that.
you could have sent a care package with him to give to your son. But we thank him for his service. We actually have it funny. We have a couple new employees starting on July 7th, and one of them is a Marine. And he just got out of the Marines, and now we will have every branch represented in our office. So that's kind of cool. So that's pretty cool. You have young ones. Do you try to push them into the real estate market, or do you try to tell them to be their own people?
Well, that's funny because my oldest daughter said she would never do anything with real estate ever. She went to school, got her degree in business and marketing, and then she is now our marketing and photographer. So she is entailed in real estate as well, wrapped in the business. So
she's an amazing photographer.
Yeah, she does some work here.
I know our viewers can't see it, but she took that picture.
Yes,
that is she does
photography.
She does our family photos. I believe in family. We believe in family here at our organization, and Maddie's super awesome, and she takes our family photos. And I'm going to tell you, for the viewers can't see this picture, but
behind you, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe
a little bit.
That sky was not that blue. It was actually overcast that day, and she made it look like it was beautiful sunrise. She did an amazing job. She does great. So
yeah. And then my youngest is in high school.
Yeah,
and she's a pistol. Grade? She's going into 10th grade.
Daughters, they're fun.
Yes, they are.
At Citrus.
It's Citrus.
Right.
Yeah, she's excited. She's just finished up the top of her class and freshman year, and her goal is to be an attorney, so not into real estate.
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes. She's great at arguing. So she'll probably be very, very fluent with that field.
I think so.
What about you, Kim? You got some little ones? You guys are world travelers.
We're kind of like an international family.
Yeah, like I'd live vicariously through you and your family. Y'all do some cool trips.
My husband's from South Africa.
Okay.
And his oldest daughter, who is now mine, I claim her, of course, lives in France, and she is going to law school. And
in France?
Yes. So her mother's from France.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So they used to live in Boca, but they're back in France. She's also a good argue. You know, she likes to argue like a living. Right. So they'll both do great at that. And then we have a 9-year-old going on 15. Whew. I don't know that she would go into real estate because
a bunch of daughters running around.
But she's sure in it.
She's in the business because my husband is also in real estate.
Okay.
And so we use her for,
Is there like a little is there like a little competitive edge going between you two, between you and your husband? If he's a realtor, you're a realtor, is there some competition?
He's definitely different from what we aim our business towards. He's more off market. You know, you're gonna have that homeowner that doesn't want to show their house, that it's a mess, and they just want a fast, quick sale. Right. They don't want pictures all over the internet of their home. Those are the properties that he's more geared to. And then if that's not the right fit, he refers them to our team, and we partner with him.
That's a good feeder system.
Yes, yeah. So it works well.
Yeah. And so some competition, not competition, I should say. There's got to be some kind of competition. Everything
competition sometimes. So when you have two people in that same field, like they have to say,
don't talk about real estate today.
Yeah. So,
I don't want to talk about
right,
that.
we took it off, right? You're talking
Take
about
a
your
break.
work day, but your work days are the same. So that's a little bit different.
How does it feel, Tomika, to be the new head of the United Way of Citrus County?
Well, I'm taking the spot of a great
No,
chair.
I set the bar low. I told you that yesterday.
No. I think that United Way has turned around in the last few years. It's made a lot of changes. And I'm not saying that it was bad before by any means. I think that they're focusing and honing on what direction that they really want to take now and how they want to serve their community.
It's just different.
Just different approach.
It's a different approach, and you know we like history, right? We like the past. I mean, I love Les Cook. Les Cook was a brilliant property appraiser. He did a great job for this office for a long time. We're just different. The real estate market looks different, and with you two kind of leading the charge, the future's bright. I know that I look forward to that, and I know United Way looks forward to the things that you guys or that you're going to be doing. I am going to stay on the board, so I'll help you.
I know, because that's a non-negotiable.
That is a non-negotiable. It'll be good. So I'm going to land this plane. So we're going to ask some. It's going to be like a rapid fire.
Oh boy.
Okay.
You'll have to.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Kim, what is your spirit animal?
I don't think anybody's ever asked.
That's not very
that
rapid,
question.
Kim.
It isn't rapid. Oh, I got to think on the spot.
Yeah, I could be fast.
Okay, I'm going to go with a lion, but don't ask me why.
Lion.
I'll tell you why. Yeah.
What's yours, Tomika?
I think I'm going to be a bear. And I'm going to be a bear because...
Like a grizzly bear?
Maybe. I don't know. Black bear. Just depends on my mood, right? But I think because I will love you and I will nurture you and I will protect you.
You're like a chameleon bear.
Yes.
You're going to... Yeah.
Right? If you cross my children, you cross my work family, you don't do the right thing because I'm all about doing the right thing, you're going to feel the grizzly. Like I feel like that's how I am.
I'm a patriotic unicorn. Just so you know, this is my spirit animal. This is what I identify with. That's my pronoun. Patriotic unicorn.
Okay.
I like being different. Y'all are different in everything you do. All right. Sweet tea, unsweet tea.
Sweet. 2 cups of sugar.
I would normally say sweet tea. However, I'm on a health venture. Change of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'll have to answer on sweet tea.
So I have a buddy of mine. He talks about it's all about behavior discipline.
Yes.
Like I'm not good. I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I love fried chicken. I love everything that's bad. I want it. And so him and I had a conversation the other day, and he's like, "The only person I can change is you. It's your behavior discipline." And
right.
And it's not discipline in your behaviors. It's literally behavior discipline. And he talks about changing all that. So we try to, I bring my own lunch. I don't go to lunch much.
If anybody's watching, Cregg did eat boiled eggs yesterday for lunch. So he did good. He was
I did not eat Los Magallos tacos and shells. And I ate my lunch. But my coach would be proud of that. Nancy would be proud of that. Favorite place to vacation? You're a world traveler.
I would say I like somewhere warm, tropical. We're going to Belize.
Here we go again. See,
I'm going to go with, we've been to Jamaica a couple times. So I do like Jamaica.
Yeah.
But Belize might top that. We'll see how
I'm always afraid of my life in Jamaica. I like Jamaica, but I'm always afraid.
The minute you get off the plane, it's like, oh my goodness.
We have a lady who's married to a Jamaican, and so it's always fun to hear the stories. But they like going to France and Ireland.
Yeah.
And, nobody wants to go back to Jamaica, I guess. But what about you?
We love outdoors, so we're usually geared towards skiing, fishing, and those types of things. So we would love to have a pole in our hand. We'd love to, whether it's a ski pole or a fishing pole, right? Like we love to our kids love all of that. I vote for warm weather. I'm outnumbered in my family, so we always end up somewhere cold. So our next big trip will be Japan, obviously to see our son, and it's got some of the best skiing in Misawa. So that's super great. I
love the heat. Nancy loves the cold. I think we're going to kind of meet in the middle. I don't know if it's really meeting in the middle, but we're going to Big Sky. I think that's one of our trips.
That's beautiful.
That's one of our trips. Well, we hope you have a happy 4th of July. I don't even know when this is airing. Maybe it's after 4th of July and you've had a great 4th of July. But
and then Labor Day. Labor
Day
is next, right?
Yeah, Labor Day is next. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you
Thank
very
you for the
much.
opportunity.
Is there anything that I forgot to talk about before we sign off on this crazy
I have a question
journey?
for you.
Oh, I like these. So I'm a free range chicken. So be careful with your question. Go ahead.
These
Be
types
careful
of
with your
things are
answer.
not really my favorite. I don't like public speaking. I'm just going to put it out there and make myself vulnerable.
Okay.
So in your podcast, you mentioned that you struggled with speaking
Yep.
and a stutter, and you would never know that from how you present yourself today and how you speak in front of people. What would be one thing you would tell somebody that would help them overcome that fear? Because I feel like a lot of people have that same fear
Yep.
of public speaking.
So there was a friend of mine that we did a podcast. You'll have to watch it if you haven't watched it. His name is Coach Jay Miller. And
I watched that one.
he said, he identifies as an insecure overachiever. And I feel like that's what I am. And so how did I overcome that? I was an overachiever because I was kind of like the underdog. And I had an older brother who was super athletic, good looking guy. Everybody loved him. And then there's the runt, and the stutterer. And so I started slowly feeling like the only way I was going to grow is to put myself in uncomfortable situations.
Sure. Where growth happens.
Put myself in weird, awkward, uncomfortable situations and just keep doing it. Nobody in my family was a cop, so I became a cop, right? And I did it because it was growth. And then I just found mentors that were great at it, and constantly studying. I still catch myself stuttering. Nobody would know it because I know how to kind of mask it. But I like the insecure overachiever role, and I like being the underdog. And so like I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and perfecting it. And like, Megan will video these things and we'll watch them. Okay, this is what we can get better at. I'm constantly, like, you two are always working on your craft of being the best realtors you can be. I'm working on my craft. I love talking about leadership and I love having these kind of chats. So it just takes time. So great
And
question.
now you're mentoring people.
Yeah.
You mentor people. Yes, you do.
I don't look at it like
Don't want to be modest.
Yeah. If I help people, that's all I care about. Like, I believe there's givers and takers in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think if you're going to be a taker, Ryan Leake said that, and I don't want to take that. That's a Ryan Leake thing. So Ryan Leake, one of my favorite writers / motivators, and you can either be one of the two. You can either be givers or takers. And I don't ever want to be a taker. I want to die on this planet being a giver, and that's all I want to be. And if that's given to the community in public speaking or mentoring or financially or whatever, that's how I'm going to go out.
And again, it takes one person to change a life, right?
Sure.
And we want to be that person for everybody.
Yeah.
I know that you do too.
That's my goal. If I can change someone's life today, I will do everything I can
Absolutely.
in my power to do that. And I think that's what's awesome about having friends like you two, because we are similar to like that. And I think you kind of gravitate towards that. Everybody says iron sharpens iron. But I'm only going to be around positive people, and I want to be around givers, and
you're as good as your circle.
And that's what you two are. And I appreciate you giving your time to the CCPA Playbook and coming and joining us. So do you have any questions? I like free range chicken questions. You got anything?
You want me to
create one? Come up with one.
What could realtors do for you in the industry that would make your job easier?
Come to our realtor trainings. Come to our realtor sessions. We've done a good job with tracking the realtor questions when they come in, when they call, or when they come in our office, and we will track that. And then I will go, when I do presentations to realtors, we'll go over all those questions, right? And so I think the things that they could do is pay attention to our social media, learn everything they can, register for the realtor e-newsletter, or come to realtor trainings. It's sadly, and I get it, we will have 30 realtors sign up and only 15 show up. And so if we can get more, I call them butts and seats, right? If we can get more butts and seats in learning what we do, then it will just make your job easier. And I'm trying to put every tool and resource available on our website. And so I just use them. Like, we created brochures and leverage that, leverage those tools, ask questions. All the realtors know that I'm accessible. So just ask questions. Yeah. Great question.
Yeah. And I will say, realtors, brokers, company, go to the trainings. Like,
Go to the
it's going to make your job so much easier. You're going to look that much better for your client. You're going to do that much better for your client.
We're actually going to start doing some videos. I don't know that question. I don't know that answer because I'm going to be out of pocket for a few weeks, and so we don't know yet. And I don't want to be up there in a sling. So we will be doing some video series, little shorts. We call them like the millennials will know what a short is, but so little 5-10 minute things on how to navigate our website, and we're going to be pushing those out more. And so if they can't make a realtor training, watch the videos. Perfect. Become more informed, right? So that's a big deal.
Or if you're not available, it's 9:00 at night and you're trying to figure something out.
Right. Because you just love our website, then go hit it up. And you can read our articles. They're all archived. Every article we've ever written, if you're really that bored. But we do have a great website. But we have a great IT department, and Darren Pillsbury
who's been here since I think the start of the
30 years. Appraiser. He just celebrated his 30-year work anniversary.
He is amazing.
He's my Yoda. We actually just released an article about him. I wrote an article about him called Quiet Leadership. He's great. He's great. All of our staff are great, but we'll honor him today. Yeah. Air Force veteran.
Yep, I know.
Citrus high grad.
And what's your book you're reading right now for everybody?
Oh, so Ryan Leake just released a book that I have ordered, and it's How to Work with Complicated People.
Oh, I need that for.
So that's
I'm just kidding.
That's the new book that I have not read.
He's the best.
No, his tone on that that's not a knock. Like, everybody's complicated because everybody has a story. Yeah. And I think that, like, you look at, so we have 50 employees here. Everybody has a story. And so everybody in their own little world is complicated. It's how do you deal with that complicated? Yeah. How do you deal with that? So, and I think, so we have 160,000 residents in our county. And I want to make sure that, because I think when somebody comes to my office or our office and they're kind of maybe in a bad mood or foul mood, it's not personal. It's not a personal attack on me as the person, as the human. It's maybe they're just upset about something in their own life. And how do you navigate that? And so I want to get better. I think one of the most underrated tools as a leader is listening. And so I think we need to listen more to our people and to our citizens. And that book is going to help, I think, hopefully get me to better understand how to deal with complicated people.
I'll pass it along to us when you're done.
What about y'all? What book are you reading? You have given me many a book.
I know we do books.
We do books. We share books.
I'm reading right now What to Say.
What to Say.
By Phil Jones.
Mine is Jamie Kern-Lima, but I cannot remember the title of the book. The one that we just got. She's a motivational, inspirational speaker. If you've never heard her story, check her out. She was turned down many, many times, and now she then sold her makeup business for billions of dollars because of her weight and the way that she looks.
I can't sell.
You have to get so many.
I can't sell the property appraiser's office for billions of dollars. There's a book, and I'm going to end it on this. There's a book that Ryan Leake wrote called Leveling Up, and there's levels to this thing, and there's levels to you too. There's like the normal person, and then there's the Soul Sisters, and y'all are up there. And I can't thank you enough for your friendship, professionally and personally, and then your time for being here today.
Yeah, and we appreciate everything. Your staff is phenomenal. Like, definitely kudos to the Citrus County Property Appraiser's office. We could not do it without you.
Our business model follows y'all's. We just follow you. Whatever y'all do, we do.
We like working with like-minded people.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope y'all have a great day. Say something nice. Somebody change somebody's life.